Rohit, thank you for joining us today. Today, we're going to be talking from the small business sentiment survey we did with 70,000 of our customers, how they're feeling about the US economy and their business. So to start off, 69% of respondents of the survey believe the economy is not getting better for their businesses. Now, with the new rate cut just announced by the Fed of 25 bips, what does it mean for small businesses that have this gloomy outlook?
So as Chairman Powell also said that the rate cuts are being made effective because the job market has considerably slowed down. And what we are seeing is that, the number of layoffs have gone up quite significantly over the last 2-3 months. We're also seeing a slowdown in the economy. That's very clear. We are starting to see the impact of the tariffs now starting to seep in also. So I think if we take all three into account, then obviously a lot of small business owners are very worried because consumer demand in this country powers 70% of the GDP, and that's a worry that if job losses continue, this consumer demand can slow down. And also with tariffs being contributing to the inflation, one worry is that Fed doesn't have a lot of maneuverability to cut interest rates further. And that was also one reason why Chairman Powell didn't commit to another rate cut in December meeting.
Mm-hmm. And that brings up a good point of, Jerome Powell, and then also on the other side of this is the government shutdown. Now, we also asked the business owners about the government shutdown, and 53.5% of the respondents are saying the government shutdown is negatively impacting their business's cash flow. From what you just discussed earlier about the effects that Jerome Powell is thinking about, what are two of the top financial steps you think business owners should take to mitigate the damage that, from the Fed rate and the government shutdown?
So I think the government shutdown now has prolonged quite for longer than expected. What it is also doing is that it has also led to SBA lending totally stopped, and I've seen numbers like 100 million a day plus of SBA lending has totally stopped now for more than a month. And the impact is going to be even bigger because even when the government shutdown ends, the backlog is going to take months and months to clear, actually. So I think that's one area of concern. The second area of concern is that government spending on contracts and other projects and works have also stopped. And that is also impacting a lot of small businesses because the largest number of contracts in terms of numbers, units is won by small businesses. While that might not be true by value, but by numbers. So, and their existing contract payments have also got stopped. So even if they have executed on these contracts over last 2-3 months, they are not getting paid right now. And that's a big problem because, that is impacting their cash flow. That is also impacting their ability to run payroll. And also that you combine with the impact of tariffs, that is getting to become a significant drag on the economy. And already I saw a number that, in last 15 days, almost $25-30 billion of losses have happened in the economy because of government shutdown. And the challenge is that nobody knows when this shutdown is going to end. So I think that is creating an added uncertainty along with the other geopolitical issues around there.
Yeah, and you brought a great point about we don't know when it's going to shut down, but also estimating the value of the losses that are coming from this. And Fox News actually reported that small businesses are in the billions in losses currently. And obviously it'll just keep growing and growing as this prolongs. Now, from our survey, over 51% of the respondents said, the loss of the access to SBA loans, grants, and things like you just mentioned are, part of the large reason of why they're having such an issue with, moving forward. What are some alternatives businesses should look for financing outside of SBA loans?
So as I said, SBA lending is totally shut down. That's at least 100 million a day of disbursements which is not happening, which is a pretty big number. Now business owners still have to run their business. They need working capital. So platforms like ours, we are providing money. One good thing is that, the advent of private credit and I would say the hunger among the insurance companies to invest in this asset class has increased. One silver lining in this is that as Fed has cut the interest rates, the SME lending asset class has become more attractive for a lot of investors. And the good news there for a lot of small businesses is that, the cost of money in the alternative lending space or even in the non-SBA space has come down, and And obviously, Fed cuts the interest rates even further, it will come down even faster. So the idea around the fact that, while SBA lending plays a critical role, as I've said repeatedly, SMB lending is all floating rate, products. So every time Fed cuts interest rate, not only it impacts lending going forward, but also on the existing lending, products which are out there, which will definitely help businesses to get some relief in their loan repayments, and that will positively impact their cash flow. Having said that, government spending besides SBA lending also plays a very big role for a lot of small businesses, and there, a lot of their payments are in a backlog. So eventually they will not lose the money, but they're not getting paid till the time, the government comes back. And that can create a lot of stress for them because, most of these small businesses don't have big cash reserves to, keep sustaining and continuing the business as usual if they don't get paid from the government, if the government is their client.
Yeah, and again, you bring up another great point about the access to capital, and that is a question we did ask, and 60% of our respondents said access to capital is the main problem that they're facing. Now, can you go into a little bit of kind of what is stopping small businesses from getting access to capital in your opinion?
Now, I think the challenge for a lot of small businesses is that while the interest rates are coming down, but with the slowdown in the economy and inflation not still at the level that Fed really wants, that's creating a bit of a double whammy for them. And the problem, as I said earlier, is that, if consumer spending slows down even further because of job losses and expected even more slowdown in the economy, that will cause even greater uncertainty. And the problem with uncertainty is that then consumers don't want to spend money. Especially we are in holiday season, which has been typically and traditionally the busiest time or the busiest quarter for small businesses. This year has been tough for them because of tariffs already, that if they're importing a lot of their goods, then they're already paying much higher price and much higher duties on that. I think the key would be to see that when the government shutdown ends, that's one. And then the second thing is that in terms of access to credit, I foresee that a lot of, lending will keep moving away from banks to non-banks. That trend is going to accelerate even further because one thing the government shutdown has shown that, SBA lending is good, but you cannot rely on that because if the government shuts down, then, you cannot get money.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you were saying about the alternative lending options, there are options, as you know, from, the line of credit, being able to have that flexibility and growth. Is there, any other, possibilities with a line of credit or, MCA and things like that would really, position the business owner to be in a better thing?
Yeah, so I think some of the products like what we have launched, a line of credit, gives them more flexibility of, they can borrow the money that they need, and when they need it. I think the other thing, as I said, the cost of money is coming down. That's good news. The third good news is that there's a lot of, ability to now, get money from insurance and pension funds, which wasn't there earlier. So I think that's also another good news,
Well, this is fantastic, Rohit. Thank you so much. And just the last question to end out on is, is there anything we can expect from Biz2Credit in the near future for helping small businesses?
So one of the things that we are doing is that we are constantly trying to refine our products, build better price products for our business customers, help them with tools like virtual CFO so that they can manage their cash flow better, do more analytics, help them with their business growth needs, and also looking at ways and means to build better products for them.
Fantastic. Well, thank you, Rohit. I appreciate it.
Bye.